Hey everyone, welcome to Aerobic AF. I'm Ken and this is Quinlan.
We're pumped you're here. This is your home for a casual, unfiltered look at the world of running and all things hybrid training.
If you're trying to level up, stay consistent, and still be a normal human being, you're in the right place.
Let's get into it.
I think it's so funny that we always start laughing. It's because we're having a good time.
We are constant laughter.
So, against my better judgment today, I suggested that we record this episode despite the fact that I still have 2 straws up my nose connecting into my sinuses.
I was a bit nervous about the nasaliness, but you actually sound exactly the same as you did before. So it's fine.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. For the listeners, earlier this week, the week that we're recording here, I had I'm not going to call it a minor procedure, but I did have a procedure done, which is called a septoplasty.
Yeah, basically, in layman's terms, to decongest the nose so that it actually goes down the right way and doesn't cause these coughing episodes, like the lack of being able to breathe during workouts and just normal life. It just makes life easier for your sinus experience.
Yeah, they just straightened out the cartilage in the middle of my nose, basically.
Yeah.
So that I can have better issues, or have less issues, better issues. That's not what we're looking for. I can have less issues breathing.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, I used to get all these sinus infections, and it was a big problem. When I get a cold, it's like it can kind of linger because it doesn't drain properly. Mm-hmm. You said something to me the other day that actually offended me quite a bit.
Oh, no.
And you suggested that when I was a kid, I was the nosebleed kid. And I could not believe that you were telling me this.
Yeah, I mean, we all remember the kid with nosebleeds in school. And
I was very sick.
Something clicked that was you. And then between that and not having grown till you were much later, I could really just picture you as a small child.
Just in 6th grade, 5'6", just getting a nosebleed.
It's so sad.
Yeah, that's a sad picture.
It's okay. Sometimes it makes you better when you're older. So at least you didn't peak when you were young.
Yeah, there was definitely no peaking going on in middle school for this guy.
Not at all.
So this gave us we started thinking about, rather, since I've had to take the week off of training, a topic that's always seems to come up is how much fitness you lose when you do take time off training. And this could be for a multitude of reasons. In this case, it was because I had this procedure done. In other cases, it can be because of a serious injury. We'll get into your ACL stuff. And sometimes it can just be
about that.
as simple as like a work trip.
Like, you're away for work, or even going on a trip with friends, or a planned vacation that doesn't allow you to train like the way that you typically would at home. Lots of reasons that might, I'll say, quote unquote, derail your training schedule.
I do feel, for the most part, the mental reframe or the mental aspect of this is actually where you take the most damage. So I guess we'll start there.
Yeah.
You aren't actually losing as much fitness as you think you are when you are forced to take these breaks, especially if it's just a work trip, or for me, this will be 1 to 2 weeks basically off, and then I'll return to lighter cardio training. The first point that we would like to hammer home is you are not losing as much fitness as you think you are.
I think it can be really difficult to have something, I'm going to call it like an unplanned interruption, because you're not prepared for that time off. And then I agree, mentally you're almost in this like fight or flight kind of panic mode of, oh my God, I'm going to lose all this fitness that I just spent months building. And you go into a bit of a freak out in your own mind. I'm speaking from personal experience. It used to really freak me out when I'd have to take multiple days off running. I'd see my weekly mileage go down. I don't like seeing that little dip
You
in my
like seeing
Strava
the
graph.
You like seeing the graph
My
nice
graph,
and consistent.
a nice little line. I don't want it to be looking like a mountain range or like a heartbeat up in here.
Mine looks like a mountain range a little bit.
Probably
There's some very
does.
low volume weeks in there.
Oh God, yeah, it's like triggering. But yeah, something that I think it's sometimes you learn it based on going through it, right? So when you experience taking 1 week off and then jumping back into it, you look back and go, oh, you know what? That actually wasn't so bad. I'm kind of still on the right track. I think where it can get dicey is if you try and kind of push through and keep working out when you're either sick or recovering or hurt, and then it actually ends up that you take more time off as a result because you haven't let your body heal. Then you're off for multiple weeks, and that's when it does start to, like the data says, you start to see those fitness losses. But we can talk a little bit about why you also don't need to panic about that either.
So our boy Jack Daniels,
Love Jack Daniels,
very renowned running coach. We've been kind of digging into some of his literature about training. Super fascinating stuff, the way that he looks at everything. Basically, his research states that from the first week off, you basically have no measurable fitness loss. From day 7 to 14, so 1 to 2 weeks, you only lose about 2 to 5% of what your VO2 max would be, which is more or less the amount of oxygen that your body is able to pump through you when you're exercising. That's more or less what it is. So really not a huge decline. And even in the first 3 to 4 weeks, all of your physiological adaptations are still mostly intact. So you're actually, for a full month almost, you could take off.
Kind of good.
Just kind of minimal
you
adaptation.
You could just go chill.
Yeah. And the good news about this as well is that the aerobic fitness, when you're rebuilding it, takes only about half the amount of time to regain it as it took to build it in the first place.
I have so many thoughts about this because
Please share with the group.
I will. For anyone who hasn't listened to maybe the first few episodes, I went through a period of time where I didn't run for like 6 or 7 months, but in that time I was recovering from ACL surgery. So I also wasn't going to the gym or even cross training that much. And I remember being nervous about when I actually was starting to run again. I had no idea when I was going to get like back to fitness. And I ran my first 5K on, I'll call it like maybe 10 to 20 kilometers of running per week for about a month. And then I ran this 5K race, and it was significantly faster than I thought. And for context, my fastest 5K is around like 17 and a half to 18 minutes would be what I would normally shoot for in a 5K. Going into this, I thought I was going to run like a 25-minute 5K. That was what I was mentally prepared for. I ended up running like 21 minutes, which was like basically my marathon pace, which was incredible. And that really speaks to how the body does remember. And I mean, obviously I wasn't going to run my like PB 5K, my first race back, but it gave me such a confidence boost that with a bit more training and time, I would get there no problem. I think that for a lot of runners, you can get really nervous that your fitness won't come back and you'll never get back to where you were. But once you got there, the first time you get there is the hardest. Any other time you are like quote unquote rebuilding, you just have to be patient and it will come, like inevitably.
I think one thing that's important to talk about here is, especially when you're dealing with a serious injury such as the ACL, and this is a good demonstration of this, it's not actually your aerobic or cardiovascular fitness that is the limiting factor.
Yeah.
It was actually probably your neuromuscularly, the strength of the actual joints. So the worst thing that you can do is you're probably feeling quite fit, but you actually progress too fast. And you try to kind of start doing the more explosive movements.
Aerobically, I felt pretty good because I was also hammering on the Peloton. Like I did a lot of these.
Were you in the pool as well?
Yep, I was in the
Pool
pool
running?
and spinning. Yeah, okay. Don't knock pool running. Like I got my heart rate up. For anyone who is injured or nervous about the amount of impact that running demands, go to the pool. I don't care if you don't do anything else other than pool running. It mimics the exact motion. It is so hard. And talk about mind numbing. Like you can't listen to music. Odds are you're by yourself because no one else wants to go pool running with you.
You're going to be
And you just
at the
have,
local YMCA doing the aerobic class
Oh, God.
at 8 a.m. with all the seniors.
It was so brutal. And I've never appreciated road running more than after a couple sessions in the pool. But, those were the types of things that did keep my aerobic base strong enough that, once I started running again, it really was, paying more attention to how my knee and muscles and body felt versus my actual lung capacity.
So a key takeaway here is that you feel fit enough when you're recovering from a very serious injury like that. You actually just have to make sure that your body is safe enough and that you're ready to take that next step and get back into it.
Yeah, exactly. And, that's an extreme example when you're off for, 6 to 8 months, basically. That's a long time. So what we really are talking more about that is a bit more common is when you're off for, let's call it less than a month, a couple of weeks. And that is where, to your point, what you said earlier, you're not losing that much fitness in that time. So being able to control your mental state during that and actually focus on recovery and listening to your body, doing those things is going to get you back to your normal day-to-day routine so much faster than trying to muscle through an injury because you feel oh my God, if I don't run every other day, all is lost.
Yes.
That's the worst thing you can do.
Okay, so we've established that aerobic fitness is lost about half as fast as it was gained and regained faster than when you have to put the time in to develop it initially.
Yeah.
Strength training
Your
strength
Let's
is actually,
talk about that.
So that's actually lost at an even slower rate.
Love it.
If you take
Amazing.
time off from that, it's similarly to the aerobic base building.
Yeah.
Building up the initial strength takes time.
Of course.
But the body keeps the score. And if you take a break for its 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, even up to almost 4 weeks, you are really not going to see a measurable drop in your strength. You might only see a 5 to 10% drop for 3 to 4 weeks of just almost no training at all.
Yeah. So if someone needs a sign that they can take a week off, especially during this very, very cold spell and snow that we have here in Toronto, just stay inside, hibernate, hang out, watch a show.
Yeah, do your thing. And if you are feeling like you need to take a little bit of a lighter block or for whatever reason, if you're feeling tired, it actually doesn't take very much stimulus to just maintain that strength either. If you're just working in 1 session, 2 sessions, if you modify your training plan and you're just trying to not necessarily gain, but just maintain, you could do very little and not really lose very much.
Something that I keep really top of mind when I'm going to call it a niggle, because as a runner at training at this high level, odds are something's going to pop up. Your knee starts hurting randomly one day, maybe your plantar flares up temporarily.
Ankle,
Yeah,
joint mobility, hip.
It's
I have this
many
chain issue through one of my quads. It seems to flare up every once in a while. It just
there's
happens
always
when
something.
you're active.
There's always something. The best thing you can do is not panic and don't give it too much attention. Sometimes I find when you're really focusing on the thing that hurts, it's going to hurt. I think I had a physio once tell me that, if you start poking the area of your body and self-massage that hurts, odds are it's going to start to hurt more. Wow, what a shocker.
It's the old, it hurts when I do this.
So don't do
just
this.
don't do that then.
Yeah. So sometimes I'm don't touch it, don't think about it. And that's one way that I sometimes cope with, just getting through the smaller stuff. But when there is something that is nagging you a little bit more consistently, you should probably keep an eye on it. And instead of the goal being about maintaining current fitness, you shift the goal to become, how do I recover faster? And then that allows you to focus on things that are beneficial for your body at that time, which might mean sleeping in and skipping a workout one day, because sleep is your number one recovery tool. So those are the types of things that you'll start to do more of after that mental shift happens.
One thing that freaks me out when I take a little break like this and I make my return is oftentimes that the effort feels harder, or that the data shows that my body is not as physiologically adapted. Yeah, so for example, the heart rate will be higher. You'll be doing a similar effort, but the heart rate is just higher than it was 2 or 3 weeks ago when you were doing the same effort.
You've been off this week, so odds are when you start doing something kind of mid to end of week, this coming up week, that's almost 10 to 14 days of no training. So you will feel more tired. It will feel harder.
Yes. I mean, I'm not going to get too deep into the details of this, but one of the first things that you actually lose when you take a little gap off this training is your plasma volume, which is basically just means you have less blood. If you have less blood, surprise, you carry less oxygen to your muscles. Yeah. So your heart has to work harder to provide the same amount of oxygen that it was getting before with the higher volume.
It's why the beginning of any cycle and build feels so humbling. It's crazy coming off of some time off because you just finished your previous training cycle, you just had your previous training cycle, some sort of really big race that you might have performed really, really well at, take a few weeks off, and then you get back to training again and you're like, wait, why does this feel so impossible? And the plasma volume is definitely one aspect. We won't even go into the number of things that happens when your body runs a marathon, because that's like a whole other recovery process on the cellular level, and your legs just feel super flat. But it definitely can freak you out. I'll give you that. It can be a little nerve-wracking of oh my God, what's happening to my body?
Yeah, but as we had discussed, the good news is that generally takes about 3, 5, maybe 7 sessions, and your body will get back to that original volume. So that will immediately, once you kind of get those first couple sessions in, definitely reduces the amount of cardiac load that you're taking. And then the efforts just start to feel easier again.
Yeah, and it's a classic thing. A flower doesn't bloom all year round, right? You don't want to be at your peak fitness every single week. You really want to time it for the race. And in order to do that, you do have to be patient with yourself, especially when you're coming back. And you don't need to rush back to fitness. Just running, we talk about this all the time, by your RPE, that's going to get you there because it allows your body to adapt properly, and you're not just stressing yourself out trying to hit these unrealistic paces.
I also think kind of when you're coming back, and this is to your point, often there's an ideology that you need to be hammering so much all the time to try to regain that fitness that maybe you lost. I think this is something that maybe I've done in the past. So I'll come back from taking some time off and I'm just jacking up 3 or 4
You feel like you have to catch
thresholds.
Up to everyone else.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
there's an element of catch up, which is crazy because it's not productive thinking, but it's human. It's the way we think.
It's actually better to ease back in. Not surprisingly, this is a theme that always seems to come up, is that you can actually take the time off and then lighter sessions to build back that base and just ease back in are actually going to be physiologically better for your body to let it readapt and remember where the fitness was and get primed in all these ways that we have discussed to be ready for those harder efforts, which you can return to shortly after you come back and rebuild that base.
I think one of my favorite feelings is when it all starts to click again. And that is what I hold on to now, because, I've done kind of 2 workouts since.
Oh my God, what was that sound?
I don't know. It happens sometimes. I feel like it's going to happen again. I've done 2 sessions since taking a lighter block after Vancouver. And I'm not going to lie, it was pretty humbling. I wanted to run like a threshold effort, a pretty simple 4 times 6 minutes. And like my watch was saying 4-minute, 4:05, which for the listeners, that's about 10 to 15 seconds off of where I want to be. And I'll admit, like, that sucked. Like, for my ego, I was pretty bruised by that. I'm like, God damn, this is really hard. But reflecting on the workout after, I was actually just really proud that I, kind of grinded through it, because mentally I'm like, oh God, I'm not hitting any of my paces. This doesn't feel good. Maybe I should just quit. Like, I don't even want to finish. But now I have the new perspective of like, okay, odds are the next workout I do is going to go better than that one. And that's a really fun feeling. I mean,
because it sounds like that workout went pretty bad.
It was so windy. There was so much going on, and I was not having a fun time. I was alone. It was really icy, and I had to keep changing my route. Anyways, I could make a million excuses why that workout was tough. But the main point is that I do find it to be very fun when you see your fitness come back week over week.
One thing that came up while we were discussing this in our production meeting was aka us having a coffee on the couch talking about Jack Daniels.
You're like, what are we doing?
So swimmers oftentimes have multiple sessions a day.
Swimmers are working
demanding,
so hard. Yeah,
so we were curious about whether or not swimmers lose muscle density, or whether or not they lose their fitness faster than other sports, because it seems like they're training almost twice as much as other sports are.
Yeah, I grew up with a couple people in my life being in the competitive swimming scene, and this is when I was in like middle school, high school, so we were pretty young, and my friends were swimming like 8 to 10 times per week. And so I've always had this hypothesis that swimmers had to swim or train so much harder than like a runner or any other endurance athlete, because I just thought, I'm like, your swimming muscles go away super quickly, which is a very non-scientific way of saying that you actually, what we learned is that you lose like swim efficiency, and your technique suffers when you're not in the pool. Because again, shocker, we don't swim for fun. We walk around for fun. Like, we're not just swimming in our day-to-day. So you have to be in the pool to be good at it.
It's more technique based.
Yes, not you're losing your swimming muscles that I've been saying for years.
No, you definitely are not. And a part that you touched on is similarly to, well, comparatively, I guess, to running or cycling. You're just not loading the muscles that you use for swimming. You're using your shoulder. It's
a very different form when you're in the water versus just like living your life.
Whereas running, it's like you're still walking around. You're still loading the similar muscle groups.
Up and down stairs.
So they're getting tension and work. Whereas, if you're doing the front crawl, there aren't too many things that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. You don't sit on your couch
and you're just...
Maybe
maybe if you were a professional swimmer you would, but yeah, we found that to be really interesting as well. I think it's another reason why, if you're training for a triathlon or if swimming is part of your sport, you do have to make time to be in the pool a decent amount to gain the benefits with technique and efficiencies and such. So yeah, good news for us is that whenever we're injured, we head on straight to the pool. So
that's it. Straight to the pool or straight to the bike.
Yeah.
One aspect I do want to touch on briefly here is the cross-training aspect. Because for me, it's like I will be kind of forced into cross-training a little bit, because I'm going to need to do lower aerobically demanding or lower
Lower impact.
Just lower impact
Yeah.
exercises. So for me, that probably means a lot of erg work. It means I'm going to be on the bike. I'll probably mix in a little bit of the row and a little bit of the ski, although I'm not sure the ski is really going to be that
I don't know if
good
that
for me.
hinge is helpful, but
It's mostly will be the bike though. I do think that translates pretty well, especially for reestablishing the base early on. I think long term, you obviously do need to be doing whatever movement it is for your sport.
yeah.
So you can get away with doing the bike for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, if you have an injury that is going to be aggravated by running, but is not going to be aggravated by that movement, and your fitness will actually, you can maintain it at a level that's good.
Yeah. Cross training can be so boring though.
You hate the bike.
I
your
hate the
ACL
bike
recovery.
so much. I lived on that thing for like a year plus, and it was the only thing that I could do. So I definitely have a more negative relationship with the bike. I associate it with injury because that's the time when I would turn to it.
Our friends call the bike the prison workout.
It's
Because
terrible.
you're oftentimes just in the back of the gym, you're
I
by
hate
yourself,
it.
you're staring at a cement wall.
Like, Godspeed to people doing a workout on a bike. I did one workout on a bike, and it was the hardest thing I'd ever done. I refuse. I'm never going back.
We substituted in some interval training
No,
on the bike a couple times in
would rather
the
pool
last
run.
year.
I'd rather go pool running.
I will say that the bike interval workouts were extremely hard.
Yes.
And you'll be feeling so gassed too, but your heart rate is lower for some reason.
Yeah.
I would be fully tapped out, and my heart rate would be around 160, which is, I don't know, 25 below what my max would normally be, or what I would see
Yeah.
during a running
Yeah.
workout. But I would be so tired.
Yeah, it definitely takes it out of you. And I think there's something about the element of when you're outside, you're getting this other additional mental benefit because I'm going to butcher whatever science is for this one, but bear with me. When you are
You're the one
looking
with the
around,
degree in science,
yeah,
by the way.
I did not study this one, but if we want to talk chemical engineering,
Maybe on the next episode.
I'll probably butcher that too.
I'll let you take the lead on that one.
No, so when you're running outside or even just walking outside in general, the mental benefits not only come from physically moving your body, but like your mind is so stimulated because you're looking around. There's trees, there's people, there's like different nature elements that bring joy to the mind. So I find immediately there's more relief when you're doing any workout outside compared to inside. So it's also why I find the treadmill to be quite challenging when you're by yourself. Yeah, and maybe there's a part of that that's good for training because, you train your body, but you also want to train your mind. But yeah, I don't know. I draw the line at an hour plus bike workout.
I think I could go, 90 minutes is the line for me
Mm-hmm.
for the bike in particular. I think that's a nice amount of time. I don't have the disdain for it that you do, which is probably good for me because, as we said, I'm probably going to be spending a lot of time on it.
Yeah. And then the other piece of this too is that when you are coming back, just being really gracious with your body and almost just practicing gratitude for getting to be back to fitness. Like, I'm sure you are just low-key going crazy after being off for a week.
It's been interesting because you
Maybe
channel the break is welcomed, and to be honest, I haven't really had the same amount of energy this week.
That's fair.
Like
That's true.
This last couple days I've definitely bounced back, but I was feeling extremely depleted at the
Yeah.
beginning of this week. I was sleeping for most of the day. I was in quite a bit of pain, and I could think of nothing that I wanted to do less than a threshold workout.
Yeah.
So
fair.
there is a part now that I'm feeling excited to get back. Like
That's
this morning
an
was
awesome
a long
feeling
run.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this morning, oftentimes on Sundays are our long run days.
Yeah.
So,
that was sad doing that without you.
yeah. So we have been doing
got
those
through.
quite a bit. These are days where I find it to be mentally difficult because you see what everybody else is doing and you want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But you have to understand where you're at, where your body's at. It's
Totally.
not good for me to be out in the cold. That's one of the things that's the worst things that
Actually,
I could
yeah, we one of our other friends, shout out Dana.
do. Shout out Dana, Coach D.
Yeah, she's rehabbing a hamstring injury right now, and I mean, I think she's been handling it great because there's one piece of rehab that you do need to push the body and stress the body so that everything can readapt. But then you also have to know when you've maybe gone overboard and done too much. You really need to toe that line. So she opted out of the run this morning, which was a good decision. It was also like negative 20 degrees Celsius. So when it's that cold, the body is not as primed to run.
Yeah.
Like anyone who has any sort of niggle or issue going on, just warm it up, be inside. You do not need to be like suffering in the cold like that.
It's a fair point. The cold weather, everything's a little bit tighter. You could re-aggravate something.
Yeah, it scares me sometimes, the cold and how the body reacts. Like, I actually had, I had something kind of pop up my IT band and like upper shin area because, well, that was just dumb. I just ran on shoes that I had no business running on because they were so old.
You just pulled out your oldest pair of running shoes and said, I'm going to rip off 12K today.
I kind of forgot.
And then you got lost on the run, so it ended up being way longer.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was not a good idea. So, yeah, just being smart about it and really coming back to the point of today's episode. If you miss 1 day, 2 days, like anything under a week, do not fret, and also don't try to make up for lost time. I think that's another thing that we haven't really touched on yet. Like if you were supposed to do a run workout one day and you're feeling sick or under the weather, so you opt for a rest day, that doesn't mean you need to go do that workout the next day. You might actually be better off to just take it easy the next day and do a harder workout, like your next scheduled one, versus trying to like stack a bunch of hard days in a row, thinking you need to like make up for it.
I think that body awareness is important. Main takeaway for me is that the aerobic fitness is lost half as fast as it was gained, and it comes back in the same manner. So don't worry about it.
Those are great data points to anchor on. Like, wow, way to go.
Yeah, shout out to our boy.
I was going to say shout out to our bodies.
Well, shout out to those too.
For holding on for dear life.
Yeah, they're pretty adaptable. I'm feeling pretty good about where everything's at.
Yeah.
And same thing with strength. Just remember, you can maintain it very easily if you're feeling tired. Just 1 to 2 sessions a week. You should be able to kind of stick around that same volume, and you're going to be fine. And then all the other adaptations come over time.
Oh, man, but we didn't even talk about the fact that when you haven't done strength or lifting in a while, it could be 1 week off or a month off. Sometimes the first workout back and like I am so sore, I can barely walk. It's insane the way the DOMs hit when you haven't been doing it.
Define DOMs.
Delayed onset muscle soreness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just for the listeners.
I know.
Sometimes I feel like we just throw these terms out and we assume that everybody knows what it is.
Defining the acronyms is good. I agree. But yeah, that one, even though to your point, you haven't necessarily lost that much muscle when you've taken time off, it is again just such a shock to the system. Your body's like, wait, we're doing this again? Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And that's just the muscle structure. Like
it's going to be like, good luck walking for the next week, but fine.
But after that first week, it's like, then you're less sore after that.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to be destroyed when I hit my first strength session
You're
back.
You're going to be shocked. Yeah.
But it's all good. We're mentally prepared for that. And feeling
it's fun.
blessed that...
I mean, who wants to feel like superhuman every day? That's no fun.
Well, I'm sure I'll be ruining the days where I was in my peak fitness in early December when I start to get back to this. But as we said, a couple weeks and we'll be back to normal.
Yeah.
All right, you got anything else to add for the listeners here?
No, I mean, this actually just kind of hyped me up as I'm getting back into training and a more regular routine. It's just kind of a reminder that you will get back to your fitness. This is kind of just part of it. And sometimes you just need that extra reminder that it's okay and that you will get there. And take the time off if you need it.
That's right.
Really just don't stress.
Take the rest day.
Read a book.
Take one more rest day. If you or someone else that you know is dealing with an injury, kind of had to take a gap or a break from working out, and you think that they would find this episode helpful, please
send it their way.
Share the episode.
Share the love.
Yeah, leave a rating, subscribe. It really helps us out.
Thanks so much for listening. We're just loving pumping out the content for you guys.
It's been fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and in the meantime, stay aerobic AF.